Can
I start? And let me talk again.
When you see your face big.
Oh, here, cushion. It's too big. Heravoor. Fisker Magus Farty. Good evening and welcome, everybody. I'm a doctor who goes to Neiche Lochjev. I'm a bit of good boss. Here, back in your show again. I hope you all enjoy the night. I'm sure you will. This is our first night doing this, so a bit of trial, so we might get the odd thing wrong, but it's good to be doing this. This is the kind of world we're in now, although it's good to occasionally get together as well. I was feeling as a scholar, I was feeling good is screen on the 10. So I'm just on pick and tang if it's a good I want to thank the people at the start who enabled us to have this event tonight, and I think the other 2 Mondays as well. That's Museums Gallery Scotland, who funded the digital equipment. Dr. Alan Miller, who I see from my notes is still recuperating at home. Dr. Ian Oliver from St Andrews Department of Computer Studies and Open Virtual Worlds, who have parted and have the patience as well to train various people in the community, not me, listen to add, but me and Anna and others anyway have tried the patience, I think, of various people who were training them over the last while. This is as part of Community being an associate member of the Wild West Atlantic 5 group, Expo North, who have kindly offered to partner us as well, Sarah Jane and the teachers and children at Scotland Tour, and I saw Sarah Jane at the warm-up yesterday at Clann in the pouring rain. By Kianar Flew, terribly wet day, I have to say. The Fisker Daoine group of Community Junior Community teenage filmmakers, Amanda Woods, who you see on screen there, volunteer member of the graphic and our developing Wellbeing groups, and Anna Black for running the film group and also being responsible for the webinar construction. I saw earlier on tonight, Anna, that you're supposed to be playing with at the Dalek Awards tomorrow night in Glasgow. I don't know if you're there live or virtually, but I'm sure we'll find out. So over to you, Mary. Tarsen you could finish the valley. Pick an 8 sigali to Dasha.
Tapalat, Uist agus Arja Dunya, and welcome to everyone who's here. Small though the audience may be, we're treating this really as a bit of a pilot because it's our first attempt and we're trying to reach as many people in a different way as we can. And I think we're going to begin with Skol Uist, the school, the primary school in North Uist, and we hope that Ian, it's probably time to play the video clip of the head teacher, Sarah Jane McSween.
Projects. The work has always had a focus on the children learning about their natural environment, as well as celebrating the Gaelic language and promoting the culture and heritage of North Uist. The Community have to be commended for their. The children have always been excited when they are involved in projects led by Community Uist. Since CEUT opened in 2016, we have worked on a number of different projects. The work has always had a focus on the children learning about their natural environment, as well as celebrating the Gaelic language and promoting the culture and heritage of North Uist. The Commonechtre have to be commended for their effort to involve the whole school community in their projects. Over the years, our families have enjoyed celebrating the success of their children's achievements. Many aspects of the Curriculum for Excellence are addressed through the valuable learning experiences. The high standard of work produced by our pupils is a reflection of the professional support, guidance and cooperation from the Commonechtre. As a result of their involvement, our children have gained in knowledge and understanding and have grown in confidence as individuals. It's great to see some of our former pupils who are now in Scolia na Clutch still engaged with the Commonechtre.
And now we move on to a PowerPoint which shows what the children did when they were thinking about choosing one thing they had liked and one thing they enjoyed or helped them survive over COVID. And I think it's very, very revealing. We were absolutely stunned by the work that the children produced, the quality of thought, observation, and the totally unexpected but very imaginative drawings they did. We just expected to have one word from each of them on a topic of something that they found difficult and something that had helped them cope with COVID. But you can see that they've gone to town on the drawings, how resilient they are and how well they cope with the difficulties. Next slide, Ian. So when we come to what we found difficult, the sample of 66 children that were there on that day mostly wrote in Gaelic, which I was so pleased to see. It was wonderful. But there was obviously some of them are in English medium. And one of these commented immediately when my dad had to self-isolate after returning from the rigs. And that just shows the changes, the disruption in home life. It's very indicative of what the children had to acclimatize to. Next slide. So what we found most difficult, not being able to see our family and friends. At least a third of the children mentioned that. Having to wear masks, next, 19. Not being able to go out. And there were many mentions, 23 again, a third, of language which suggested prohibition, forbidden, being constrained, couldn't, not able to, having to, not allowed. Next slide. There were glimpses of the language of anxiety. I thought I might get coronavirus. I couldn't visit friends and family especially when my auntie passed away. Next slide. But the major finding was missing friends and family. I missed Granny. I couldn't visit my family in Glasgow. I couldn't visit family in Germany. We weren't allowed to go on holiday. And I couldn't see my friends, 23 mentions. Next slide. The drawings were just so brilliant. I particularly love the ones on this page. The expressiveness of being stuck in the house and waving to friends. And then the brilliant notice where you couldn't travel on the ferry. I couldn't go where I wanted to. Next slide. Next slide. Home learning was mentioned 12 times, and I love the grim expressions on their faces. I don't know if we could go back to the previous slide, Ian. I know you said that was difficult, but maybe I can just mention poor internet connectivity. Oh yes, home learning was difficult as I wasn't able to see my friends. The social aspects of schooling important. I didn't receive much help with home learning. Bad internet connection. And then I think it affected the younger ones the most, trying to write my letters. My heart was in sympathy with that particular comment. But the faces of people trying to work at home are particularly expressive. Next slide. No one actually mentioned missing school, although by implication, the missing of friends indicated how much they value school. 4 children missed school clubs shut down. I couldn't attend football club. And we see the loneliness of the football and the loneliness of the goal and the wide gaps between them. And I couldn't visit the library. I wasn't quite sure if that was a school library or Leoniklich library. But obviously those are things that were valued. Next slide. "19 mentions of not liking wearing masks or sanitizing hands. And I thought this picture was just beautiful, so bold, with NHS in the middle there, a sort of celebration of the NHS. And there was a mention of not enjoying having to wear a mask on the school bus. All those restrictions and changes to their lives. Next slide. Right, we go on to the things that helped us feel better. We walked around North Uist with the beautiful map, a very enterprising activity as a family, I imagine. I visited new places on the island. Obviously, exploring the island was quite a marked feature of their time. Next slide. And this wonderful picture about visiting and seeing new places with diving the flippers, the water, the rocks, really is a joyous picture and says a lot for the talent of the artist there. Absolutely emblematic of a certain sense of freedom that we perceived. Next slide. Most frequent mentions were enjoying spending more time with the family and having more time to play. More time was mentioned 18 times and playing 15 times. So we see here the importance of play in terms of children's development here, and the fact that it was something they pulled out, and the sense of having a bit more time. Next slide. We loved being outdoors. 7 children mentioned enjoying walking, the visiting new places on the island, but also working on the croft seemed to have quite a few mentions. Next slide. And this, another wonderful drawing of a trampoline in great detail with the ladder. And the celebration, I learned how to do a backflip and a forward flip on the trampoline. Another example of enjoying playing and physical activity outdoors. That seemed to come through really strongly. Next slide. Animals were such an important part of their lives. So we have the beautiful drawing of the sheep and lamb, and then the drawing, another brilliant drawing of actually working on the croft and dealing with the sheep. I think the fact that they're coloured in and such detail has been given shows terrific outdoor well-being and enjoyment. Next slide. Another one, similar, beautifully detailed. I was busy lambing on the croft. This was last Easter when it was done. I was busy working with the animals. And I love to see children mentioning working and enjoyment together at a young age. Next slide. Pets figured. My pet, my dog, I was really happy. Playing with my cats. Next slide. And indoors, there were quite a few mentions. Reading, Granny stayed with us for a long time. Staying in with my family. I think we forget sometimes that although people are in, they're often just units in the house, and it felt as though families were coming together. And of course, the all-important bubbles, and what a wonderful, happy drawing that is at the bottom. Next slide. This one of somebody enjoying drawing particularly charmed me. The details of the t-shirt and the wonderful cartoon smile and eye. Next slide. I did lots of baking. There are 3 or 4 mentions of baking, and particularly amongst the younger ones, I felt. And that's a wonderful opportunity to do things with parents and take time, have more time for it. Next slide. And of course, the screens, phoning, FaceTiming family and friends, and playing games online. Only 5 mentioned online games, which I think is quite heartening. And there's a lovely picture of someone with headphones on there in a beautiful red chair, obviously enjoying playing with friends. Next slide. And Sarah Jane should be happy to hear that 3 students actually enjoyed homeschooling and mentioned it. And we have here a wonderful coloured in bed, I think it is, rather than but it could be a sofa. And the positioning of the laptop on the legs, and that she loved this particular school. Attender loved being able to do work at home. Next slide. And that's thank you to all the wonderful children at Skol Uist, all their teachers, a memorable archive and piece of history making. Thank you. So I think now we hand over to Anna.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Anna.
Thanks, Adi. We're going to have a wee look now at the film that was created by Skippa Féisceart Daoine. Skippa Féisceart Daoine meaning Monday evening team. And it comprised of 7 young people, all of whom were of high school age, one of whom had left high school. We'd meet up on a Monday evening via Zoom, and our goal really was to have them each record their own experience of lockdown and the pandemic. So we received some funding from Museums Gallery Scotland to put together a digital backpack. So in that there was an iPad Pro, a microphone, a 360-degree camera, and other wee bits and pieces that would enable them to kind of get out and about within their bubbles, obviously, and safely, and film some interviews and some footage of basically what they were up to throughout lockdown, and how they coped with that. So the pack was passed around the households. It was thoroughly sanitized in between, and I think it was even quarantined for a few days. Each of the young people would have it for a week or 2, and they would be kind of left to their own devices. We asked them to create a film that was about 2 minutes in length. And in the films, I mean, you'll see them in a wee minute. You can see that they were interviewing each other. Some of them recorded some music, their own compositions, as well as music that they were working on throughout lockdown, and also some lovely bits and pieces of scenery. They then edited that to create their wee films. So we're going to take a wee look at them just now. There are 4 films in total. The first one is by Callum, then we'll see one by Rachel and Andrew, followed by a film from Lucy and Faye, and then Maddie and Seamus's film. So I think we're good to go. I'll be quiet.
wrote this tune in the third lockdown quite recently. Haven't quite gotten in for it yet, but I've been playing the accordion and the piano quite a lot in lockdown, and I have Patrick Morrison teaching me on the box and Alex teaching me the keyboard.
Okay, so the first question is, how has COVID affected you?
Well, it didn't really affect us that much really here because we were lambing at the time, and we were just on the farm back and forward, and then I was working. Well, actually, I didn't work until June. I was off from March until June, and then I started working again back at the distillery, and they were really busy with online orders, so we were bottling and packaging mail for that, so it was going all over the country. There was quite a lot going to places that were in national lockdown because they were obviously not able to go to pubs or anything, so there's more people drinking at home. So yeah.
What did you do on the farm with your dad?
So it was lambing time at the time, so we were quite busy with that. We'd take turns at night shift, and there was calving as well, just the end of calving then. And then baling as well. We were kind of still for some of that, so yeah, it was quite good.
Did the distillery do anything new when they were throughout lockdown?
We had a chance to try some new gins and make some new gins, and yeah, that's about it.
How will you spend Christmas with the new guidelines that are applied?
So usually we just have Granny up for Christmas dinner to our house, and we just have a nice dinner and have a relaxing day. Nothing really will change for us.
Oh, okay, so overall, how has COVID-19 affected your mental attitude?
It didn't really affect my mental attitude because on the farm you're just kind of in a world of your own, and you just carry on with day-to-day jobs and everything, so you still keep an eye on the cases that are obviously happening.
Oh yes, was there many in the islands?
It started off in South Uist, but we were quite careful here, well, in general, and Mum just did a shopping once a week to try and reduce the risk of having to go to the shop so often. Were you still able to work through lockdown?
Yeah, I had my part-time job at Hammersley House in Longford, and I was working there most nights, and then, well, I was off school, so I had lots of time to prepare for going to work and all that stuff.
Oh, that's good, yeah. What else did you do in your spare time?
Well, I had quite a lot of schoolwork, but I was able to cope with it, so I just helped Dad on the farm and all that sort of stuff, like lambing and baling and just jobs like that.
Was the weather good while you were helping your dad on the farm?
Yeah, it was good. It was okay. Well, lambing was a bit rough, but it was okay.
So overall it didn't affect you that much?
Not really, no. It was quite good because the farm was quite quiet, so it was easy to get on with the jobs, but the rest of the country wasn't in a good state.
And was there many cases on the island?
There was about 50 altogether.
What
What's been most difficult for you during the lockdowns that we've had due to coronavirus?
Definitely not being able to see my friends and family every day as I normally would. As there's been no school, I'm not able to see my friends every day, and due to restrictions I'm not able to see my grandparents either, which has been really hard because I normally see them every day. So yeah, that's probably been the hardest thing for me. Have you found any distractions that have helped you?
Listening to music has definitely helped me, and being outside, like going for walks and cycles, has definitely helped me as well. How has online learning been for you?
At the very start it was quite difficult because when you're at school it's a lot easier to focus because it's just you've got no distractions, but when you're at home it's difficult because you've got distractions. It's a lot harder to concentrate, and we don't know what's happening with exams either, so everything's just a bit uncertain just now, which is difficult because you don't know what's happening. Have you spent more time on the craft?
Yeah, I've been helping my dad more on the craft and just helping him with like feeding the sheep and cows, and like just helping him with lambing and calving.
And Christmas was different this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had to spend Christmas just as our own family in the house, which was different to last year because we normally be with like all the family, like having Christmas dinner. And the same with New Year, normally we would celebrate with like the whole family, but it was just
us this year, so that was different because first fruiting's a big tradition here, but because of the restrictions we weren't able to do that, so that was really strange.
Must had a bit of muon COVID-19 pandemic.
Ha mé a bhí gíonraing mar siolach agus machadatin as cineo mór an Diano. Céim a sé a bhí Diano gráach leis a pandemic.
Ha dul mé bhí goach chuideá agus Diana bud mar sná agus giastach chu is dul céman an fata sé dóid má san féin exercís nu nach chutáir le Diano. Jimmy is a cimara is sé Diana grácha.
Ha ceála chuideá top mód. Hai bhí chuideá nó na chuing a dul méid á tá a siad donna. Hai cáirslúm sé síos agus cléist ceáil a cáirsteún.
Thank you, Anna, for combining and running the Fesca evenings. I think the children did, well, the young people did amazingly well, considering it was all done through Zoom and they were left to themselves and they've interpreted things in their own way. It was really marvelous. So thank you, Anna. And Amanda, I think you might now be going to say a word or two about well-being amongst young people. Amanda's a volunteer and a recently retired GP who works with us. And we are interested in the well-being of our children and young people here. I think we're lucky on the island because of our environment and the space that the children have. And we recognize that we're luckier than in other places, but it's not without its difficulties. And so thank you, Amanda.
Do you want me to start?
Yes, I think
Right.
so.
Okay. So I think these work by the children, the younger ones, is fantastic. The films that you've just shown are outstanding and just shows what thought and resilience these children and young people have. And it's really something we want to build on to help people cope with the difficulties that they're facing at the moment and in the future. And this group of whom I'm a part really want the community, want you to say what you want from us, and how we can look to support each other in difficult and through difficult times. And I would say actually that particularly obviously the older children approach it in a different way, but the children really have led the way there. And I'm incredibly impressed with their resilience. So we're looking for people, if they have ideas of how they want help, support, not one-to-one mental health, but in group help or ideas for support through these difficult times. That's something we want to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. And that's really all we have on offer tonight. This is a pilot project. We're experimenting. We've loved the opportunity to show what the children have done so brilliantly. We are hoping to move forward next week to look at the well-being of adults. This is the first of 3 webinars, which St Andrews are going to build as a kind of COVID archive with different rooms. There'll be a children's room with lots of the different films the children have made. And we're moving on to the adults next week. And we're going to finish with an example of adult or young people and adult resilience in a time of COVID, which Ian, you can fade out, but we'll just show how complicated rehearsing music was in a midgy outdoors with a keyboard indoors. Thank you and good night.